What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our ACC football channel.
The Cavaliers, of course, are doing some good things under Bronco Mendenhall. I've been mighty impressed with his efforts, considering he left BYU going 99-49. Work out the winning percentage. It's about 667. They finished ranked more often than not. Since he left, there's been 4 and 5 and 6 win seasons at BYU. He comes to Virginia. He inherits a mess. He plays through it the first year. Basically, doesn't care what the record is, needs to build the culture, start the foundation, and align the building blocks. So he goes 2-10, suffers through 2-10, then goes 6-6, loses a bowl game 6-7. Then last year, much better, 8-5 after the big bowl win, 28-0 over South Carolina. So we're looking at trajectory with these teams. And for Virginia, under Bronco Mendenhall, it is certainly that. It's that. That's the trajectory. Awful program, 2-10. That was expected, can be forgiven. That's a mulligan. That's just a coach who knows what he's doing, just saying, hey, I'm just playing kids and I'm evaluating personnel and I'm installing a culture. Then 6 wins, then 8. Then we'll see where it goes from here. The recruiting rankings, on the other hand, have not been stellar for Virginia. So in evaluating and handicapping the ACC Coastal Division race, of course, you look at the talent on the particular teams, and if it just comes down to talent, then Miami will win the Coastal Division. But they've had the best talent, aside from a couple of years with Virginia Tech and maybe North Carolina, back when they were recruiting. They have been recruiting rather well, but actually when they were putting the pieces together, Miami's had the best team in the division ever since they joined the ACC, again, excluding a couple of years. But the best talent doesn't always win, because it doesn't play the best always. But the recruiting means a lot. Here are the recruiting rankings for Virginia. Now, going into 2020, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they're going to sign kids late, but right now they are floundering at 12th in the ACC, number 62 in the nation, according to the 247 composite. So that doesn't bode well for the future, but I got to think that's not necessarily Bronco Mendenhall's too concerned about that. Because this is a happening program right now. People are paying attention to Virginia for the first time in forever. Number 7 recruiting in the ACC, the class that's going to hit the field, the ones that don't get redshirted in 2019. That class, number 7 in the ACC, number 39 in the nation. The class before that are now sophomores, number 11 in the ACC, number 59 in the nation. The one before that, number 12 in the ACC, number 58 in the nation. The one before that, number 10 in the ACC, number 63 in college football. So we've got recruiting classes that are going to hit the field this year. The 4 classes at number 63, 58, 59, and 39 in the nation. That's how good a coach Bronco Mendenhall is. He said when he showed up and was able to evaluate talent that entering last season, even after the 2-10 and the 6-7 improving that much, that he still only had 27 ACC caliber players on the roster. And that was before the 8-win season. He must have thought he had like 3 or 4 when he first arrived. So on the field, the trajectory is straight up. Well, it's like that. It's looking good. In recruiting, it's difficult to tell. I'm going to put more stock in him raising it about 20 positions in the rankings this past recruiting class and not really look at what's going on for 2020. So the recruiting's better for that one Bronco Mendenhall season, most recent. He's just really been that good. Think Wisconsin, Northwestern, K-State, what they've been able to do the last 20 years under excellent coaching, taking marginal talent, recruiting rankings in the 30s, 40s, 50s, K-State even worse than that, and producing top 10 teams. Again, he went to 11 bowls and typically finished ranked at BYU, and they haven't been able to come close to that since. He develops players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where Virginia has gotten so much better. He took a lot of teams at BYU and took in 2- and 3-star players that are now in the NFL. And he's doing the same at Virginia. The last couple teams have turned out some NFL players, especially this past team that graduated some players into the NFL. And these were not highly sought after high school players. They were 2- and 3-star kids. The S&P Plus for Virginia in 2017 was 91st in the nation. Last year, it was 62nd. They're climbing. All right, let's talk the offense. Number 82 in the nation. Total yardage, number 68 in points per game. Not a prolific offense, and they lose 2 of their main cogs in Almighty Zacchaeus, who caught 92 passes and is a burner, playmaker. He's gone. And Jordan Ellis, had 1,000 yards rushing. He was not an explosive back, but a very reliable move the chains kind of guy, and he's gone. And again, Zacchaeus was first-team All-ACC after catching 93 and 9 touchdowns. They're gone. So their most explosive and their most reliable players on offense are gone. Of course, Bryce Perkins runs the show, and he had a stellar 2018 campaign, 25 touchdowns and 9 picks, 34 total touchdowns accounted for. He was 3rd in the ACC in total offense per game. And if some of these guys do not fill in the vacancies left by Zacchaeus and Ellis, but Zacchaeus in particular, Perkins is going to have to shoulder more of the load on offense. Don't know about the replacements here. We got running back P.K. Kier, also Wayne Talapapa, who, because Kier was hurt during the spring, actually starred in the spring and is now pushing for the job and pushing for carries. Joe Reed at wide receiver is a burner. He had 25 catches and 7 touchdowns last year, and he proves in the return game his worth as well. Hassis Dubois caught 52 passes and 5 touchdowns, and you've got Tavares Kelly as well. So the wide receivers are decent. Not great. The offensive line last year was not good. They're missing 3 starters, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. This offense was not explosive last year, and they're losing their most explosive player. Now, Joe Reed's going to have to step up and be a better player and more consistent and more part of the game plan from week to week than what he's been in the past. All right, the defense was very strong last year. Number 3 in the ACC. Number 21 in the nation, points against. Number 3 in the ACC in yardage. Number 20 in points allowed. They were 31st in the nation in S&P Plus, and if you're not familiar with S&P Plus, it really is the advanced metrics group of categories that you need to pay attention to because for example, a quarterback could play for a horrible team. They're always behind. They're always needing to throw the ball. Like take Mike Leach's first Washington State team that went 3-9, so they got a philosophy to throw the ball all the time. And then number 2, they're awful, so they've got to throw it all the time because they're behind. So they're going to rack up a ton of yardage. So they're going to finish first in the nation in passing yardage, but that's not necessarily efficient or effective. So the advanced metrics, get familiar with those. We try to pass those along courtesy SB Nation, also Athlons. We had Mitch Light on, the managing editor of Athlons this week, so please check out that conversation. All right, we got some starters back in the defensive front, including Eli Handback, and really he's the guy. He's a really productive player, but he's the only starter back along the defensive front, so they're going to be weak, expected to be weak and thin on the front, but the linebackers are loaded and deep. I tried to go through all the productivity at linebacker and list all these guys, but I thought, you know what? It's Jordan Mack, it's Charles Snowden, and I'm not going to name every linebacker for this team, but they are really set at linebacker. They're really strong. The safety pair might be the best in the ACC with Joey Blunt. You also have Brenton Nelson at safety. Cornerback Bryce Hall's back. He's one of the best players in the nation at his position. He actually led the nation in passes broken up with 24 PBUs. Place kicker is Brian Delaney, hit on 12 of 16 kicks. The kick returner we mentioned is Joe Reed, very explosive. Average 27 yards per kickoff return. The schedule is one of the weakest in Power 5 football. Virginia always gets Louisville, so Louisville's been one of the better teams in the ACC until now, until last year, and now Virginia gets the break in playing Louisville each and every year. They also have Florida State. That's a bit of a wild card entry from the other division. Florida State's probably the biggest unknown in the ACC. They could go 10-2. They could go 5-7 again. So Virginia's got that as an ACC schedule, and of course everyone in the Coastal. They also have a date against Notre Dame, which is rather interesting, but they've got Virginia Tech and Virginia Tech at home. They've got to travel to Miami. That could prove costly for the Cavaliers. My thoughts on Virginia football. Would love to give your prediction, your thoughts about the ACC and Virginia football as we make our way through the contending teams in the ACC.
Thank you for watching this video. If you are an ACC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in ACC football, keep it right here.